And during the few moments that we have left, we want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
The new look for the college football playoff, they've added a new bowl game called the Atlanta Bowl. I guess that's going to take place of, I guess Atlanta was needing a big bowl game. Well, they have the Peach Bowl and what's the other one that they have? Chick-fil-A Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So this year the national championship game is in Jerry's house, Jerry World, North Texas. But the two semifinal games, one of them is at the Rose Bowl, one is at the Sugar Bowl. And the other bowls, that they're going to be a 3-year rotation, they said on this. The semifinals and the national championship games will be held in the Atlanta Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, and then I don't know what they're calling the bowl in North Texas, but that's where the national championship game is this year. Well, the two semifinal games this year are the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl. Next year, the two semifinal games in the 2015-2016 season will be the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. And then the 2016 and 2017 seasons will be the Atlanta Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. But it didn't really say where the final is. I'm sure they won't be at Jerry World every year. I wouldn't think, but it doesn't really say which one of those is going to host the championship game. It just says national championship and what day it is. It doesn't say where it's going to be hosted in the next 3 years. So,
well, that's going to be interesting, and I'm looking for this. I'm looking forward to this new format. Let's see how that works.
I'm anxious to see how long it lasts before they go to 8 teams and then 16 teams,
and 32 and 64.
So I saw where there's going to be 78 teams playing in bowl games this year. They're adding a new bowl game this year called the Cure Bowl. It's going to be in Orlando, and it's going to be between an AAC, the American Athletic Conference, and the Sun Belt Conference.
Ooh, that'll be a great game. Man, Lord.
It'll be South Alabama and Cincinnati or somebody.
And I see where LSU's going to Syracuse, play in Syracuse 2015. I think that might be a home-and-home thing, but I think that's good. I think that's good.
There's several teams that are working on that home-and-home thing right now, and it's how this playoff system works this year will be a big factor in that, I think, because Georgia and Notre Dame are working on a home-and-home.
Yes, and
schedule.
you want to strengthen that schedule as much as you can now.
And I'm not real big on Notre Dame, but they have a tough schedule already.
Yes, I mean they got Stanford, USC,
North
Florida
Carolina
State,
yeah.
North Carolina State, or North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah.
Yes,
and Florida
they
State.
probably wish they had North Carolina State.
Yeah,
but they got North Carolina. I mean, they got their hands full, and you got to give them kudos for that because they go through that unscathed.
That's a tough schedule.
Yes.
Any way you look at it, that's a tough schedule.
And what are they saying, that Arkansas has the toughest schedule in the nation?
Yeah, and I don't.
Maybe it's just because they're so bad.
Maybe. I think they might. I mean, we'll talk about the SEC in a couple of weeks, but we'll go ahead and throw this out there. I think they win 2 games.
Yes.
Nicholls State and UAB.
And the UAB game, I mean.
Arkansas is at Auburn to open up the season on August the 30th. Then they have Nicholls State at home.
And Texas Tech.
Then they're at Texas Tech. Then they have Northern Illinois, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, UAB, Mississippi State, LSU, Ole Miss, and Missouri. So that could be, I mean, that is a tough schedule.
Well, I mean, but hey, I tell you, on a normal Arkansas year, that's nothing.
No, when Petrino was there, it was a different story.
Yeah. I mean, Arkansas, win 9 out of those games, But now I'm looking at them just losing 9 games this year.
Well, I think what's happened with that, and it's not just Arkansas, but it's across the SEC. With Auburn, and Texas A&M, and Missouri, they started running this hurry-up offense, and it's hard to stop. But Bielema comes in down there at Arkansas with his Wisconsin line up in front of you and run over you offense, and you can't do that in the SEC.
No.
That will be shut down without even practicing.
Yes. Uh-huh.
especially the bigger tier schools, Alabama, Auburn, and LSU, you don't have a chance to just line up and run over somebody.
You're not going to run over those teams.
No. Well, even Texas A&M, their defense is terrible, but Georgia always has a good defense.
Always.
Mississippi State has a good defense when you just going to line up and try to run over them.
Yeah, because they're one of the best smash-mouth ball clubs in the SEC.
Yeah.
And on any given day, they'll beat you.
Yeah. They almost beat Alabama and Auburn last year.
Well, in '92, won the national championship. We came back, we beat them 21-20 on a last-minute drive. And they gave us fits all day long.
Well, the same way this year with Auburn. They scored in the last 13 or whatever, 10 seconds of the game and
11,
scored.
12, yeah, that was it.
And beat them.
Yes, but I think that set the standard for Auburn right there, because that's when I saw Auburn playing the whole game, and then they continued that all during the season.
Yeah.
I think the Georgia game just went on a little bit too long.
Yeah, and the Alabama game.
Yeah. They should have just throw that 1 second out and put them in overtime. I'm just kidding.
Another thing is getting a lot of talk this week is about Jadeveon Clowney, where he's going to go in the draft, and he's called off any more visits. He's not going to go anywhere else and try out. He went through the combine and blew everybody away at the combine, and then he had at the pro day at South Carolina. He
had a great pro day.
And all the NFL scouts and NFL owners are just slobbering over him, wanting to get him. And so he's went ahead and canceled. He's not going to go try out anywhere else.
Well, you don't want to get hurt.
Well, now he's getting blasted for that. Huh. Saying he's lazy. His work ethic's terrible.
Shoot, hey, he's already shown what he can do. Sit back.
He's going to get $30 million in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Hey, I wouldn't do anything either. And they talked about his work ethic during the season this year. I think he just came back to make Spurrier happy. He wasn't out there to play, but when they needed him to make a play, he did.
Yes. And
he was just glad not to get hurt, like you said.
And thank goodness he didn't get hurt. I mean, it's not like when Andre Smith went to his pro day. I mean, he was pitiful.
Yeah.
I mean, he still got his money, but he wasn't in shape. He wasn't ready to do his pro days, and he did a few, but everybody gave him, a hard time about it. I agree with Clowney. Stop.
After the Capital One Bowl when South Carolina and Michigan played 2 years ago, and he jacked up that Michigan running back at the end of the game or about the middle of the game and caused him to fumble, and then he recovered the fumble. And
yes,
John Gruden was just about to have a heart attack.
I think he was going to get back in coaching right then.
And that kind of solidified that Clowney.
Yes.
He would have been the number one pick if he came out last year,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And
I was really surprised him coming back.
I was too.
I mean, but I gave him kudos for it.
Well, when he said he was coming back, I knew. I thought to myself, he's just gonna. He won't be the same. He's gonna play, but he's gonna play not to get hurt.
Exactly.
And that's what he did.
And I don't blame him.
And all these experts are saying it's because he's lazy and doesn't have a work ethic. Man, the guy's fishing to be probably one of the best defensive ends ever in NFL history. And when was the last time a player as good as him came out in the draft? That won't be another one either.
No, it won't.
So,
and I don't blame him at all for not wanting to get hurt and lose that money, because we're talking about a career here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he can play 10 years. I mean, maybe more.
It's not a running back or quarterback or a receiver we're talking about here. This is a defensive lineman,
a big boy
who has the potential to be just as good as Bruce Smith and Reggie White and any of the guys. He's going to be good for somebody, whether he goes to the Texans as first pick or the Rams.
I'd love to
second
see him
pick.
in the Jets uniform.
Hey, the Jets are Chris Johnson, the running back from Tennessee, is trying out for them this week.
Well, good.
So you be proud about that.
Well, I'm surprised we didn't get Testaverde back. I mean, we might get him for one game.
I think Rex Ryan's wanting to sign Sanchez to a extension. I'm just kidding.
Scared me there for a minute, Rob. I never was sold on Mark Sanchez. I mean, I thought Colt McCoy Greg McElroy had better preseasons than Sanchez, and he never really got to play. But I'm glad to see Greg McElroy in the SEC booth now. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And people are wondering if he can be fair with Saban. And we'll just wait and see. I mean, I don't look for Greg McElroy to show any favoritism.
He's going to have him and Tebow in the same booth.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll be good.